a bundle of joy, loved by many, left this earth 12 years ago at age 42.
Dus wat is jouw plan? Zitten, opstaan. 60 meter lopen. En in huis zonder stoppen. Ja, ik wil zonder rollator, juist.
Poca tells you about her youngest sister, still sorely missed by so many. A surprise or two in the tribute to AISHA HUNKAR, Friday, April 28th at 6 p.m. CET, PocaTV, live. It's 6 p.m. CET, Central European Time. We are live on PocaTV Live with a special edition, my tribute to my beloved departed sister, AISHA HUNKAR.
Give me this. Give me that. Give me this. Give me that.
Hello there, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of PocaTV Live. I am Poca, which stands for People of Common Attitude. And like I'm saying, this is the third season and the third episode in that third season. It's a special edition, as you can see up here. Today marks 12 years after my youngest sister, AISHA, passed, and this will be a tribute in her name. I've got a whole bunch of stuff lined up. I've got a surprise or two up my sleeve, so I'm glad you're with me today. And while you're here, let me just, for the people a bit late, let me just repeat what I just said. It's Season 3, Episode 3 of PocaTV Live, my special tribute to AISHA HUNKAR, my youngest sister, also known as Bird. Today, on the 28th of April, we mark 12 years of her passing. 12 years ago, she died of cancer, and ever since, she's been sorely missed by so many. And I thought, why not do a special on her so that you, my lovely viewers, know more about her and know why it is that I keep going on and on and on and on about her. AISHA is never forgotten, at least not by me, and I'm sure by many of you as well. People who watch this program on a regular basis know that I always livicate these live programs to her because, well, she was such a staunch supporter of anything I ever did in life. For example, when I left the newsroom many years ago, 16 or 17 years ago, I left the newsroom here in the Netherlands and I had to start all over. And I came up with the title you see here, Global Freestyle Multimedia Journalist. I mean, you got to give the thing a name. And everybody laughed at me. Some still do. But AISHA said, no, that's exactly what you are. And if you're not that yet, it's exactly what you're going to be. You're going to be global. You're going to be freestyle. You're going to be multimedia. And you are a journalist. So she said, just keep that title. And well, after she died, I guess what she said came true, because in the very same year she died, I traveled for paid work to Ghana and to China. And then in the years that passed after that, I also traveled to, let me see, what can I come up with? Well, Belgium and Germany, but those are right around the corner. I don't really count those. Well, I guess I do. But I also traveled to Brazil and to Spain and to Taiwan, obviously to Jamaica, very recently to our country of birth, Suriname, And in a couple of weeks, I will be traveling onwards to Curacao and to Stasia. All of this for my work. So that's the global part taken care of, I guess. Well, freestyle is what I've always been doing. Even these programs are very, very, very freestyle, people. Everything you see on your screen is done by me. So yeah, I kind of spread around the stuff I like doing, and I always like to put it to good use in a program like this, for example. Multimedia, sure, I'm multimedia. I'm all over the place. PocaTV started very, very long ago, and Aisha was a really big fan of that. And this was in the time that, going live on air really was not a technical option. But she kept telling me, you just keep going with your PocaTV, and one day you will be live. So here we are, Aisha, on this 12th anniversary of your passing. We are live, and it's a tribute to you, the wonderful person that you were and that you still are in my heart. Aisha, never, ever forgotten. Let me welcome all my regular viewers. I'm seeing somebody already, two people already here. Janneke van Wijngaarden, a wonderful artist. This painting you see here in the background, the lovely lady on pink, was made by Janneke, and she made an art piece on Aisha as well, and a little bird that we now have in the tree to commemorate Aisha. So Janneke, welcome. I'm so very happy that you're joining me here today. Another regular already online is Annemieke Janssens, who was my guest. I think it was last year. I'm losing track of these things. I think it was last year. Annemieke, I know you're in need of some support. So hugs and kisses to you, wherever you are right now watching. I'm happy you are here, and I hope you're doing well. So that's Annemieke taken care of. And I'd also like to welcome the people watching the rerun, because many of you don't have time on a Friday at 6 p.m. CET to watch this live. But I do know that I can tell by the views on my videos that many of you take time after the program is done to watch it. And so welcome to you. Those people watching the rerun really cannot participate live, which is what I would really like to happen today. Anybody of you watching who knew Aisha and who has a wonderful, or maybe even a bad memory of her. No, let's skip the bad. If you have lovely memories of Aisha and you wish to share them with us, you can take your phone, hold it horizontally, not vertically, no, horizontally, and scan the code you see there on the screen. In your screen, you will see a link come up, which you press, and it will take you to my studio online. You will be asked to give permission for your camera and your microphone to be used. Please give that permission, otherwise there's no point in you joining this program. Then you enter your full name, and there's a button that says Enter Studio, which you press after you've done all of that. And when you press that button, you will be behind the scenes in my orange room, waiting for me to pull you up on the screen. So you can watch the program from there, and you won't miss a thing. People watching on their laptops, it's harder for you to scan. I wonder if you can even scan on your laptop. I need to figure that out. But don't worry, there's another way for you to join. Please close every other tab and app that you have on your laptop, and then enter this URL. It's case sensitive PTVL 0303. Same thing will happen. It will take you to my studio where you give permission for your mic, etc., etc. Enter your name and enter the studio, and wait in the orange room behind the scenes until I pull you up on the screen and we can have a short talk. Short, because, it's going to be a long show anyway. So these are the two ways that you can join me live in the program. And if you wish to do neither of those, just send us a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. And I will see those comments here, and I can pull them up like I did earlier with Annemieke and with Janneke. I see somebody else has joined us to watch, Caroline Geurtse. Welcome, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining. I know you loved Aisha as well, even though I'm not even sure you ever met her in person. I know you were one of her Twitter fans, and she loved you and was always supporting you. Caroline, thank you for joining. As I look around here in my studio, I see that I already have somebody who entered that URL and is joining me live in the program. What a surprise. Welcome, DJ Conscious.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for being on the program. Um, you
My
are
pleasure. First of all, before the wind blows it, oh, it's gone. I've got a candle here that the wind
bless
keeps
you.
blowing.
You know,
Yeah, in
there it is.
memoriam. You can see it. Yeah, in memoriam to Aisha.
Oh, thank you. I had actually planned to put a candle here, but then I thought it might be a hazard. So I thank you for doing that. And
No
thank you for
problem.
joining me, DJ Conscious. You were my very, very first guest ever on PocaTV.
I know.
I say, yeah. And well, we've been friends for eons. But I don't believe you actually met Aisha. But I guess you're here because you want to share something about her. Please fill me in.
I didn't meet. I never met Aisha, but there was. We did have an online exchange back in 2007, where she emailed me about you being a special guest on an upcoming TV talk show in the Netherlands. Apparently, the producers had asked your family for ideas on how to surprise you. And she thought it would be great for me to appear, knowing that you would love to meet me. So she put me on, and this was all in an email to me. So she put me on standby to catch a flight to Amsterdam. I was in London. I was living in London at the time. So she put me on standby to catch a flight to Amsterdam in case they decided to run with it.
Oh,
I
bless
replied
her.
to her, I know, sweet. I replied to her saying you and I had actually met before in London. So either she didn't know it or it had slipped her mind. She didn't reply back. So I guess the idea just got scrapped. Or the producers didn't think it was an idea. Maybe they didn't want to pay for a flight from London to Amsterdam, that kind of thing.
You know, they're Dutch. They don't like to spend money.
Well, I think the Brits would have been the same. So don't just say it's a Dutch thing.
But what a wonderful thing. So she actually wrote you an email, not knowing you personally either.
Well, it was a DJ Conscious email. So she must have picked up the email link from the Conscious Radio webpage. And she addressed me by my DJ name rather than my real name. Obviously, DJ Conscious is not my real name, in case anyone is wondering.
No. I don't know if you wish to divulge your real name.
Adam,
yes.
Yeah.
I always try to be, give people space in these things.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
how
DJ
wonderful.
I know. But it is such a shame that I never met her. I mean, look, as you know, I never met her, but I feel I learned much about her through you over the years. And I love the way you ceremoniously kind of commemorate her life online on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, and by tending to the tree planted in her memory.
Yes. We Mom and I are going to the tree tomorrow, and we're going to do the annual cleanup again around the tree and, commemorate her, just the two of us. Yeah. We do that every year.
So remind me, what kind of tree is it?
It's a what you call those things in English? It's a dennenboom. It's like a Christmas tree, but different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just curious.
What do you say? What do you call a dennenboom in English?
I don't know. Never heard of that.
A fir tree, a pine tree. Thank you, Alexander, who's watching. Hi, Alexander. Hi, Lex. Pine tree. Thank you very much. It's a pine tree.
Which, as you say, is similar to Christmas trees. But the Christmas trees have a particular scent that always appealed to me. I love the scent of Christmas trees.
Yeah. There's other people telling me it's a pine tree. Yes, thank you, Annemieke, and thank you also, Caroline. I'm pushing so many buttons here, listening to DJ Conscious talking, thinking what's coming up next, that I forget really basic things like pine tree. So DJ Adam, consciousradio.net. Let's plug you once again. Are you back on air soon? Because you've taken a hiatus.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, all going well technically as well. Should be back this Sunday doing a tribute to the legendary Josh Shaka, who recently passed away. On the 12th of April, a monumental figure in roots reggae, Rastafari sound system, all of that.
Can't wait.
Still can't quite get my head round that he's no longer here in person, but he'll never leave us spiritually, just like Aisha. And
Exactly.
and you know what, it's fairly clear to me, you and Aisha shared a very close bond and inspired each other greatly.
That is so
So
true.
I just want to say thank you to Aisha for encouraging you, Poca, in everything that you enjoy, which of course includes PocaTV Live, which keeps going from strength to strength, and it will keep going in that direction. So big up to you, Aisha, who I'm sure is looking over you, and very proud of all your achievements.
Wow.
Yeah, bless you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. You're not supposed to make me cry, not today, but thank you,
Oh,
and trust you to put stuff into perspective. That's what you always do. That's what makes you such a great friend, Adam. So thank you.
oh,
Thank you.
my pleasure.
I'm going to go on with the show now. And
Okay.
I hope to see you in the comments, because there's going to be a lot coming up. And
Yeah, man.
so thank you for joining me straight from Jamaica, where you live now. And
Yeah.
people wondering about DJ Conscious, check out the very, very first PocaTV Live I ever did. And that's his life story. So
Yeah,
big up.
but I will say I do own more than one T-shirt.
Well, which you've proven now.
Yeah, this is proof. Yeah, proof in the pudding. Yeah.
Yeah. Bless of yourself.
Okay, nice one.
Take
Bless.
care. Take care. Bless, bless,
Bye,
bless,
bye.
bless, bless. So that was DJ Conscious, my really, really great friend from, I think it's 20 years now that we've known each other. And we met over his program, consciousradio.net, every Sunday live. And it starts at 8 o'clock Central European time. 3 hours of roots reggae radio and dub and all kinds of stuff. And you really don't want to miss that. So check him out if ever you can on a Sunday. Right. So, wow, that's a good start to the program. As I usually do with my guests, I normally have one special guest on whom I spread this light. And I always take them way, way back to their early years, which is what I'm going to do with AISHA as well. AISHA was born on a Tuesday, and everybody who knows that little rhyme, Tuesday's child is full of grace, which is exactly what she was. She was born in the year 1968 on August the 20th, a Tuesday, like I was saying. A lovely bundle of joy. Everybody immediately loved her. She was the cutest little baby. She was the first baby I ever held in my arms. So I guess that's a memory as well. I know I was very scared to hold her, but my mom was very supportive, telling me, no, just sit down and be quiet and hold her. And here's a bottle, and put it in her mouth and she will drink from it, which of course happened. But I was so very nervous I would drop her. AISHA was lovely and, very cuddly, which she remained till the very, very end. If you look at the astrology signs she was born under, in, let's say, Western astrology, I'm not sure if that's the right term, we would call her a Leo because she was born in August. And in Chinese astrology, she was born in the year of the monkey. So I looked up some of that. In Leo, the positive traits are determined, warm-hearted, and generous. Great. And in Chinese astrology, let me move it there so you can see it. Some of the positive traits are her creativeness, the fact that she had a highly developed sense of self, and that she was really, really very affectionate. All of this is true. I didn't want to linger too much on the negative traits for both signs, but there is one that they have in common: stubbornness. Yes, AISHA was a very stubborn woman, a stubborn child, stubborn baby, stubborn teenager, stubborn adult, stubborn in the way that once she knew what she wanted, that's what she went for. And it really, you had a hard time telling her differently if once she had made her mind up. So yes, she was stubborn. I'm not sure that is a bad trait. I can be stubborn myself. And all I say is that it means that I know where I'm heading. I guess that's the way to put it, isn't it? So yeah, so that's AISHA in her astrology. And what's up next? She was born as was I in Suriname, in the capital city of Paramaribo. I was born early 60s. She was born in 68, so the end of the decade, when Suriname was still a Dutch colony. The flag we used to have then is the one you see on the left, the white one with the 5 stars, which stand for the different peoples that inhabit Suriname, who were all, incidentally, except for what you call them, I'm not coming up with a word, the original inhabitants of a place, the Saramacca Indians and different kind of tribes who used to live there. All other peoples were brought there by the colonizers, by the Netherlands. Suriname gained independence in 1975, and that's when the flag changed to the one you see on the right. But this is what Paramaribo used to look like in the 1960s. I was there recently, as I was saying. It has totally changed. And the capital city certainly has not changed for the better, but you will see that in my regular television program if you watch it in July. Well, AISHA came 6 years after me. So mom and dad had a cluster of 4 children that you see on the left. And I was the youngest of that cluster. 6 years after I was born, AISHA came along. And I guess to her, that was always something that she didn't really like. She always had the feeling she had to catch up with the rest of us. I'm sure that's going to be a theme today. But when she was born in August 68, like I said, everybody loved her immediately. I mean, look at the baby. What's not to love, I ask you? She was very cuddly, stubborn, but cuddly, very sweet, always very caring, always, looking out for somebody else, even at a very, very young age. In the middle picture, you see her with my eldest sister, Adrienne, and with my brother, Melvin. And they were, let's put it this way, the substitute godmother and godfather for AISHA, because her real godmother was not Catholic. So my parents had to come up with a substitute situation. But Auntie Yeti, I have not found that picture of her holding AISHA that day, I'm sorry to say. But Auntie Yeti was her actual godmother. And AISHA's second name, Henriette, was taken from Auntie Yeti, who is also called Henriette. And she's still with us, and she's getting on. And we love her to bits. And she was always very good to AISHA. So this is AISHA very, very early on. Let me see what picture I'm showing you now. I'm showing you number 7, which means the next one coming up is the one you've seen earlier, because you've watched my special on myself and you've watched my program with my other sister, Angelique, last month. So you know that the Hunkar family did quite a lot of traveling. This is what we like to call our Hunkar family world map. We are from Suriname in South America, and my dad's work, he was an agronomist, took us to different continents. I like to say I grew up in 4 continents and in 6 languages. So after Suriname, when I was 6, AISHA was just a little baby, we moved to Malaysia for 2 years. And after that, we went back for a year and a half to Suriname, onwards to Brazil, where we lived for 3 years, and then Tunisia for 4 years, after which AISHA left for England. I will be telling you that later. And the rest of us left school and came to the Netherlands to do our studies. So that's the Hunkar family world map. And I'll take you country by country. I think that's easiest. So first country we lived in was Malaysia. Look at AISHA. She was anywhere between, hold on, let me think. No, she was not just a baby. She was, let me think. Anyway, I know she was 2 when we were in Malaysia at some point, 2 and 3 years old. So skip what I said earlier that she was a tiny baby. I think she was 2 when we left. Mom will correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, this is live. I know these pictures were taken when she was 2 or 3, and look at how cute she was. Everybody loved her still. That little tricycle you see her on in the middle picture, she used to do like Formula 1. My brother would run after her and push that little tricycle. And our house had this patio in the middle with 2 steps down. The living room was up, 2 steps down into this open area with no roof. And AISHA would steer that little tricycle right next to the edge of those steps. And Melvin used to push her really fast. Nothing ever happened. No accidents. Formula One, I mean, she should have done that. I think she would have been great at it. This picture is everybody's favorite in my family because, like I was saying, Aisha always thought she needed to catch up with the rest of us. At this age, she really could not read or write, but look at her looking all studious, pretending to write. We called her the professor on this picture. And oh gosh, don't we love her? I don't know what those glasses are. I think they're plastic, and I'm sure there's no glass in them. And look at how deftly she's holding her pencil. She is writing something. Nobody remembers what it was, but I'm sure she will let us know in some way at some point. This is the one of two pictures on which all the siblings are that I can find. I love this one because it tells of a wonderful adventure we all had in Malaysia still. My dad used to live 2 hours away from where we lived because that's where he worked during the week. And sometimes we used to visit him there. And at one such time, we had barely passed a big bridge to get to him when the bridge behind us collapsed because a huge flood took over the entire Malaysia. Many people died. We didn't, obviously, we're all there. And we were stuck in Dad's little house there for 2 weeks before we were rescued by a helicopter. I still think this is one of the most adventurous things I can ever tell anybody about my life. You can see the 5 siblings there, all in order. And you can see we're close and we had nobody else to play with except ourselves, which went pretty well. And Mom and Dad taught us early to read books. So we had nothing else to do but read books those 2 weeks. And I guess it was fun. We all had fun, even though my parents must have worried a lot because, I mean, what to do with those children and how to get back home to the capital city of Malaysia. So yeah, that's Malaysia. Moving on to Brazil, where she started in kindergarten, and I think she did the first grade there as well. Oh gosh, look at those lovely children. I think that's when Aisha started understanding the importance of friends, which is going to be a theme all through this program. In the middle picture, you see her during Carnival. Mom made that little outfit that she's wearing with the yellow band and the cute little skirt. She was a samba girl, and she definitely remained that all through her life. Aisha loved the beach, so anytime my parents thought it was a good idea to take all the children there, she would be with us. She was too young to go by herself, and I'm sure she would have loved to do that, but she got her portion of beach in Brazil. Don't worry about that. Lovely picture of her. Then we move on to Tunisia. By this time, I think we are talking 1976. So that means Aisha must have been about 8. And she went to the American school there, and the rest of us went to the French school because the American school only went to the 2nd class of secondary school, and all of the rest of us were older than that. So she was by herself in that lovely school where she was the life of the party, as she remained the rest of her life. She used to go to the Girl Scouts, brownies, and of course, look at all the medals she wore. Of course, she excelled in everything she did, like making knots and cooking, and I don't know what else they did with her. And Aisha also decided then and there that there was an artist lurking within her, one to be on stage, to be precise. Other arts also came later. But you see her here playing one of the lead roles in Mikado, the musical. And I sang that song for years. I'm glad I've lost it, but because you know how a song gets stuck in your head and you can't get rid of it? That's what happened when Aisha was rehearsing for this role. She did really well. We went to see the play at school, the musical, and she was fantastic. In Tunisia, let me see, we are at picture 14 now. Yeah. In Tunisia is where she started making friends that lasted a lifetime. One of them is Helena Dam, her friend from Sweden. It was a very international school. So like Aisha, Helena came from elsewhere and attended that American school. And she and Aisha were really, really great friends and remained so, because one of the greatest things Aisha ever did was to keep contact with people she knew in the past. Sometimes it took her a very long time to find out where they were now, and then she just look and look and look until she found an address, and then send her a letter or an email later on, which she did, and then she just kept on being friends with those people, because the picture on the right is when Aisha was already quite ill, and she went to see Helena in Sweden, and well, they had a lovely time, and Helena's brother came along for the ride, and they took her all over the place. And Aisha had a hard time walking by that time, so I don't know what, the brother drove her around, and Helena went to work and then came back, and they went to lunch, and then the brother took her somewhere else. That's how it went. And Helena, to this day, we can consider her one of Aisha's very best friends. She's very busy. She has a whole big bunch of children, so we don't talk to her much, but once in a while I'm in contact with her, and I know she's doing really well. She works at the Prime Minister's office in Sweden, so it's almost like Borgen, except that was not in Sweden, but in Denmark, I believe. But it's something like that. She works at the Prime Minister's office and is doing really well. So Helena, if ever you watch this, do get in touch with me. You're never forgotten. You know that we love you, and we also know how much you meant to Aisha. So this is about the time I'm expecting somebody to join my program, but they are not here just yet. I hope it's going to work out. In the meantime, let me just check what's going on in the comments, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the comments. Let's see here. Tineke is one of Aisha's really, really great friends as well in Holland. I will tell you about Tineke later. She's writing to us in Dutch. She's saying she's in France right now with a very bad connection, and she's trying to watch this program. She has lit a candle, and her very, very darling friend Aisha, whom she knew from the age of the age of 17, is still missed by Tineke as well. She's got lovely memories of Aisha. She sends us big hugs from her and her family. Tineke, I hope you're watching this. If you can't see it all now, you can always go back to the YouTube link that you pressed to watch this. No, you're on Facebook. You can always go back to the Facebook link where you watch this and press start, and it will start again. And I knew you wouldn't be in the Netherlands, or I would have asked you to join me as well. Tineke, I'll be telling a little bit more about you later on. I'm seeing also that Carissa Barrett from Jamaica is watching this program. Hi, Carrie. I'm so happy that you're watching. I saw your WhatsApp earlier, and I was hoping that maybe you would have time to watch. So there you are. I know how much you loved Aisha. Carrie is my friend and Aisha's friend, and every Hunkar people's friend. Carrie lives down my street in Jamaica, and I've known her for a good many years. And she and Aisha gone on like a house on fire. In fact, Carrie has told me not once, but twice or three times that yes, she does love me, but she used to love Aisha so much more. And I understand, because I love Aisha more than I love myself. Thank you for watching, Carrie. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Who else is there in the comment section? There's Evelyn Bruce. Evelyn Bruce says she wants to know, she's really curious to know how big Aisha's tree is by now, the tree that the family planted in memory of Aisha. Mom and I always go twice a year to look up that tree and to see how it's doing. And well, we usually go on the day of her passing, which is today, but I'm doing this program, so I said, Mom, let's go tomorrow. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to see how the tree is doing. But it's really huge, Evelyn. I can tell you that. Last time I saw it was in August. It's enormous. And to be fair, maybe because it gets so much love, it is the tallest tree that was planted in that batch, because it's a whole forest planted in memory of people who died of cancer. And you have to just watch your tree and see how it grows. And Aisha's pine tree is really, really, really huge. Who else did I see? There is DJ Conscious. He's now watching us on YouTube. You saw him earlier in the program. and he's now there, so so he can watch the rest of it and comment to anything that's coming up. Alexander says he's going to Google Mikado, the musical. I forget who did it. I have it in my notes somewhere. I forget who made it, but Mikado, you should just, it's a gorgeous musical, Alexander. And if you get the chance, watch it. So I'm looking at the clock, and the person I was waiting for to arrive, I'm going to send her one WhatsApp because she's at work and she has like a 15-minute break. So I certainly hope she can make it. Let me just send her a WhatsApp. Can you make it now? I hope she can. Otherwise, of course, I have a backup because we knew that, you know how work goes. And if your boss doesn't let you go for your break, then it's not going to work, right? So we do have a backup plan, but I'm going to give her just a couple of seconds. Seconds to join me here in the studio. But to be honest, I don't think it's going to work. So I'm going to do the backup plan because otherwise time will be flying too fast. Or do I have... no, this is the time I need to see her. Yeah. All right. Backup plan it is, people. She's not coming online on WhatsApp as yet. So that means her boss is keeping her, or whoever it is that she's working for, or she's not able to make it, or the link I send her doesn't work, or something. So here's the backup plan. She sent me a video as well, which we're going to share right now.
Hi, Poca. It's Jocelyn. I wanted to contact you because I was thinking about so many memories of Aisha and knowing it's her 12-year, it's a 12th year. I just can't believe it. But I had some memories about when we first met, and I met Aisha in 1978 in North Africa in Tunis. We were in El Menza 4 together, and you were a neighbor. And I was just thinking how we always used to come after school and hang out and get toasted bread with honey baguette in your house. And one year, or at least one of those months while we were in Tunis, we decided we were going to put on a play for our parents. And we had a clubhouse in the back of the garden where we had, basically it was a huge container left over from all our international traveling. And we used it as a clubhouse. We had like doors put on it. And we decided we were going to do a Christmas carol. And we were going to put on a play for our parents. And we rewrote the whole screenplay to make it shortened. And I'm not even sure if it ever made sense, but we put on the whole play, and Aisha was instrumental, of course. So it was the beginning of her dramatic roles. And she just was always so artsy. And even behind me, I don't know if you can see, is one of her unfinished paintings she did of my daughter. Also, I've been thinking about just other things that she had done and we had done together a little bit more recently. I was in London for a few days, and she flew over just for a day trip, and she came and met me for lunch. And I think Zara was about only a year and a half at that point. But at any rate, it was an amazing time, and she was just always so good at just making things happen, seizing the moment, going for it. And, well, so many memories. But I wanted to send you my very best thoughts and just wanted to touch base. And thank you for inviting me to share. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Jossie. And I'm so glad you sent us this video. I sent Jossie a WhatsApp telling her that if she can still make it, to please come in the show. I mean, we're not going to do any chronology thing anyway. So if Jossie can come make it live, then I will definitely be here welcoming her. But just so you know, these are pictures of Aisha and Jossie. That must have been a birthday party of Jossie's on the left. And years later, when Jossie was in the Netherlands, because she visited Aisha a couple of times, and Aisha visited her in Washington, D.C. a couple of times, and even in England, as you heard, because Jossie's mom was English. So this is a picture of one of those times when Jossie visited Aisha in the Netherlands. And they were the greatest friends. And Jocelyn and her brother and her parents lived across from us, well, diagonally. And I used to babysit the two of them. And she was a little bundle of energy. Aisha used to admire her for that, because Jocelyn is really a sporty kind of woman. And I guess Aisha never was. And maybe it was because of what got her in the end. She always wanted to be this athlete, but never made it that way. So she made up in so many other ways, by being an artist and an actor and a singer and a wonderful sister and a friend and all of that. But I know she really, really always admired Jossie's energy and her sportiveness. So that's them being quite young still. And this is the painting that Jocelyn was referring to in her video just now, when Aisha was already quite ill and going through rehab to learn to sit and walk again. This is what she did. She used to paint. And the painting of Jossie's daughter, Zara, is the last thing she painted. And as Jossie was saying, it was never really fully finished. But, well, because time ran out. But we did send it to Jocelyn, and she framed it and put it on her wall in her living room, which is very touching indeed. So this is Aisha's artwork. I think it's beautiful. I wish she'd made so much more of it. I remember one lion head that she made, which was absolutely, absolutely staggering. And yeah, when Jossie got married, I think that was in 2003, I seem to think it was. Maybe I'm wrong about the date, but anyway, it's a while ago. Aisha went to the wedding, and oh gosh, that was a big party. And there she is, speeching for Jossie, having a little drink, looking fabulous, being that friend that she was to so many people. And like I was saying, Aisha kept those friendships. So when she was really very ill, those two friends, Jocelyn on the left and Helena Dam in the middle, they came to say goodbye to Aisha. They came to her in Hilversum here in the Netherlands and spent a couple of days here, and reminisced and had a little party among themselves, and some laughs and a lot of cries. And I seem to remember Aisha gave both of them some jewelry that she really coveted herself. Not coveted, that she really loved herself. And she gave that jewelry to some of her very best friends. And I'm pretty sure these two ladies received one of those pieces of jewelry. So yeah, that's Jocelyn and Helena Dam, Aisha's friends from the time we lived in Tunisia. After Tunisia, when my parents my dad's work was finished in Tunisia. By that time, my eldest sister and brother had left the nest already, and the sister above me, Angelique, and myself left for the Netherlands to do our studies. And Aisha, having had education only in English, she was the only one of us who had education in one language, in English to be precise. She left for England, where she went to boarding school for a couple of years to finish her secondary school. I remember a couple of her friends from those years. I remember Lalu Carter and Ali Ball. I don't know if either of you are watching. See, I know your names. I know who you are. I know about your children. I know about your lives. Because when Aisha died, you kind of hitched up with me, for which I'm forever very thankful. So Lalu and Ali, if you're ever watching this, remember that you are in my hearts. And Aisha loved you both. And without the two of you, who knows what would have been her life there in that boarding school in the south of England, because she was very lonely. She missed mom and dad and all of that. So yeah, memories from England. In those years, she used to come on, when she was on holiday in the Netherlands, she usually came to see me. This was one of those times. I lived in the south of the Netherlands at the time. And even though there was a 6-year difference between the two of us, we really got along. And she used to spend maybe a week at my place, and we'd do all kinds of stuff that my parents never knew. But that's okay, because when you're a teenager and an early 20-year, it's okay to do stuff your parents don't know. We told you later, Mom. I know you're watching. We told you everything later. But Aisha used to love coming to see me, and sometimes even take one of those friends of hers with her. And I had this one room, and everybody was in the room, and it was a mess, but we had so much fun. I remember those days, and I really, really cherished them a lot. So that was Aisha in England. When she left school is when she came to the Netherlands, and she decided to become a physical therapist. So she went to the school for that, which is where she met Tineke. Tineke, who sent the message earlier, who's now in France. Tineke Oostijen. And the two of them were best of friends, and they remained best of friends for the rest of their lives. Yeah. And, they were there together when, they got married, and they had their children, and they, life's ups and downs. And they shared all of that together. And Tineke is still very, very much part of Mom's life, because she keeps in close contact with Mom all the time, sending Mom WhatsApps and going to visit her, to drink tea with Mom and have endless chats. And Mom is maybe like not a mother to her, but at least somebody that she can rely on to when she has some struggles in life. She knows she can go to Mom, and Mom will have a listening ear. Mom loves Tineke. So Tineke, now you hear it from me. If she never tells you, Mom loves you. I was telling her about this program. She said, make sure you contact Tineke. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to, because I'm sure Tineke is in France, and things are very difficult online from France. France really should step up with that. So that was Tineke. In those same years, the physical therapy education, Aisha met another friend with whom she spent so much time, and tears and happiness as well. That friend is Rachel, and Rachel has also sent me a video.
My dear, dear Aisha, so many fond memories, and so many astonishing things have happened in our lives. And one of the things that I think is incredible is that she gave the quince tree here, to my son, and it has these beautiful pink flowers, and they're just starting to bloom. And then these beautiful big pear-like quince come out, and when you cook them, they're lovely, sweet and pinky, and that was her favorite color. And we met when we were about 18 years old, and I asked my dad, I said, do you know this family Hunkar from Suriname? He said, yeah, I grew up with the mom. So he must have lived on the same street with her mom until he was about 18. And one day I was at her house, and I had brought one of the pregnancy tests, and I went to the bathroom, and yes, I washed my hands when I came back. And the only thing I said was, blue is blue, right? And she started to scream. She says, that baby is mine. That baby's mine. I'm like, okay. So that was my son, Valentine, who is 15 years old at the moment. And she was just in love with him even before he was born. He couldn't do anything wrong. So I thought this might be a good intro to the lovely song she sang for him. Don't change your head for me, not if you care for me. Stay all the time, each day is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day for Valentine, who is Rachel's son. He was very small at the time. She sang this for him. He's now 15, as you heard her say. And I'm very happy to report that I have a really good audio version of this song. And I'm going to play it way at the end in its entirety. So you know that you've got that coming up. So thank you, Rochelle, for being Aisha's great friend, for being my support when she left this earth, and for still being around. Even when you were living in Singapore, you and I kept in touch. And, it's wonderful to have this, what is it? It's like inheritance from Aisha. I've inherited some of her really good friends, which is fantastic. I mean, let's not forget people like, Evelyn, you saw her, Evelyn, earlier. And, oh gosh, I'm not coming up with a name right now. Never mind. Damn, what's her name? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just escaped me. I had COVID a couple of months ago, and this head of mine doesn't work anymore. As soon as I remember the name, I will be saying it. And if anybody of you knows the name I'm thinking about, please send it in the comments section. Nobody is there for the comments. Oh, darn. I'm not coming up with a name. Mom, where are you? Zap it to me, Mom. She lives in the States now with her little son. Not son, little. He's big now, Alec. She's from Liberia. Anyway, I'm going to come up with a name. Evelyn says, Jacqueline, no, that's another one of those friends. I mean, the girl from Liberia, the woman who did so really well when she came later. Joyette, that's it. Joyette, thank you, Evelyn. Sorry about this, Joyette. I know I sound like an old woman. And Joyette is one of those friends that I have inherited. But as you can tell, we're not so much in touch as I am with other people. So guess who made it to the studio after all? It's Jocelyn. Yay. I just showed the video that you recorded, Jocelyn. I know you're on a very short break. Just give us one more little snippet of love that you want to share about Aisha.
Oh my gosh, Aisha was just incredible, and one of her most amazing, I guess, qualities was her loyalty, because she always somehow found me in the world. We traveled a lot from Pakistan. We were traveling a lot, and I lost track of her. And we used to send, actual letters, old school letters, snail mail back in the day. And she found me after we'd gotten slightly separated, and we found each other in London. She was in boarding school back then. We were all in high school, and she made such great efforts to always stay connected. And in those days, bring Kiara before Jimmy.
Yes.
We used to come hang out and visit us in Washington, D.C., and I would come to Holland and see you. And She was always so good. And then when I said to her, oh, I don't remember so-and-so, or I don't know where anybody is, she would be on a mission. And she would find whoever it was that we were looking for. Somehow she had her magic, and she would find people for you.
Right.
And,
I was
Poca,
just telling that story.
I just wanted to say, Poca, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so sorry. It was raining. It's been crazy with the kids today.
I know.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry, because thank you for being here. And in fact, the story that you're just illustrating is what I was just telling the people watching, that Aisha was so loyal and that I inherited so many of her friends, you being one of them. And my other sister is very happy to see you, Angelique. I'm not sure you can see it, but I'm putting up her comment. Hi, Angelique, watching as well. And yes, it's lovely to see Jocelyn. So you got double billing. You got the video, you got some pictures, and you got this.
So
great.
I'm so greedy and selfish. It's what I do.
You know what? You've earned it. You've earned it with the whole Hunkar family. You're fine. So you're gonna go back to work now?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll probably go back, but I had to be on. I was like, oh my goodness, I think I can squeeze in and say hello.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for all your efforts.
Thank you so much.
All right, Joss.
Love it.
See you.
Miss you guys. Bye.
Yeah, I love you so much. Bye, Jocelyn. Oh, how wonderful that she made it after all. Really, really, really great. So that's Jocelyn in a whole total package that you just saw. So in the program, we have moved on beyond England and beyond Jossie, and we are now in the Netherlands. I told you some about Tineke, and I shared with you the other friend, Rochelle, and we were talking about Jacqueline and about Joyette and about other friends that I kind of inherited from Aisha. And this is what she looked like in her adult years. This is just a collection of pictures that I like of her in all kinds of different stages. And yeah, so you can see for yourself what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person she was. I have no idea what's coming up next. Oh yeah, this is Aisha at work. Aisha was very, very diligent, and she had a hard time with all kinds of companies that she worked with who were never really clear about what it was that they wanted from her, and that made her kind of, um, insecure at times. But she just kept on and on and on until she found this job at Price Waterhouse Coopers at the time, PwC. And she had a lovely time there, and they were really good to her even when she fell ill. So we have to always big up PwC for that. You see her hugging with Anita 28Apr2K23, who's another one of those friends who still keep in touch. She keeps in touch, especially with mom. They send each other Christmas cards and birthday cards. And when Anita moved, she sent her new address, and she'll always be commenting on stuff online. So Anita, we've never forgotten you either. And a whole bunch of other colleagues there. And Aisha loved it at PwC. And like I say, they were really, really good for her, even when she got sick. You've heard by now that all these friends of Aisha's have also kept in touch with mom. And that is for a special reason. Mom and Aisha, that was a duo of duos. You can tell by these pictures there was always some physicality going on between them, or they were in stitches laughing, or they were crying together, or they were cooking together, or they were singing together, or they were preparing for Christmas together, because it's the two of them that made the Hunkar family Christmas. Aisha loved Christmas, and mom loved it a little less because all the work came on her shoulders, but Aisha was always there to help her, and they had so much fun together. And when Aisha fell sick in 2007, we always believed she was ill way before that, but she kept being misdiagnosed. So when she got the proper diagnosis of thyroid cancer, which she died of, mom just packed her bags and took care of Aisha. She was her proper carer for 4 years, only sometimes substituted by my brother, Melvin, or by my eldest sister, Adrienne. I was trying to make ends meet at the time, but I went every day to her yard, and when she was at home or when she was in the hospital. But mom took on the entire care for Aisha and for her child and for the home and for her friends. So it's incredible what mom did in those years, and we must forever ever be grateful to her for that. And be really proud of her for doing that, because yeah, that's what she did. And she used to go home maybe for 1 or 2 days, and just to do the laundry and to see how dad was doing, and then she'd head straight back to Hilversum, where she took care of the whole entire household of Aisha, where the child, the house, and the patient herself. Yeah, Annemieke says she remembers all of us being very involved, and our family made a lasting impression on her. Thank you for that, Annemieke. And we remember you had your own health issues, and I remember you came all the way from Nijmegen to visit Aisha at some point with your crutches on the train, and that took you hours to get to Hilversum. And then when I said, you know what, I'm going to drive you home, you protested, and I said, no, I'm going to take you home. And that's how you and I became friends, Annemieke. So I inherited you from Aisha as well. You were a lovely online friend to her, and she used to love your reactions to anything she did. And I know you were there for her all the time, and you still are, because as we were talking about in the program I did with you, you are one of those people doing Live Strong work, and you have always remembered Aisha whenever you went cycling in Texas or somewhere in the United States, to raise awareness for cancer and for the people suffering from cancer. And you always took Aisha along for those rides on a piece of paper with a picture on it. You did that. So I could never, ever forget that. Annemieke, thank you so much. And now she says it was well worth it. Yeah, you were kind, and you still are. We love you. We love you. Yeah, so that was Aisha and Mom. A positive highlight in her life. No, the two biggest highlights in her life probably were the day she got married to Martin and the day she got her child, Kiara, who is now Jimmy. Yes, on the left you see her with Dad on her day of her wedding, and on the right you see her with baby and being very happy. I think they were in South Africa at the time, because Aisha didn't mind. She just took her little baby under her arm and still went traveling all over the place. I think she went to Aruba. I believe she went to California at some point. She definitely went to England and to Washington. I believe she went to Greenland. I'm not sure if that's true. She went to Prague, Czechoslovakia, South Africa, all of this with her baby. She just did all of that. And well, her marriage with Martin did not last, but her love affair with her own child was huge. And let me tell you, remember what Rochelle was saying, how Aisha loved her son Valentine before Valentine was born. Well, I have the same with Jimmy, because before Jimmy was born, I told Aisha, I think you're pregnant. I think you need to check it out. And she called me back the next day and she said, yes, you are right. I am pregnant. And being pregnant and having a baby was one of Aisha's biggest wishes ever. And on the day Jimmy was born, I received a bunch of flowers and this card. And this, she must have planned it beforehand, because in the card is her own handwriting, which does not happen when you order flowers for somebody. You get somebody else's typed message. But it says, Lieve dit, dear dit, that's me, dit, all dit, dit. Congratulations with your child, is what she wrote. Aisha and Martin. I dried those flowers and I kept them, and I kept this card forever. So that's how much I love her child. So yes, being a mother was the most important thing in Aisha's life, as you can tell by all these pictures. And yes, she did love to share her baby around, but mind you, she knew it was her child, and don't mess with the child, and don't mess with the mother either. Oh, Evelyn says Jimmy did his first steps on Baby Beach in Aruba. I didn't know that, Evelyn. Really? Very first steps? I remember picking them up at the airport after that. And I know one child who didn't want to return home. Yeah. So yeah, first baby steps on Baby Beach. How wonderful. So these are all kinds of pictures of Aisha with her child, and oh God, did they love each other so much, so very much. Kind of breaks my heart to see all this, but the show is going on. And this is when things went wrong. In 2007, I was saying, they finally properly diagnosed Aisha. She had been having all kinds of symptoms for many years, and doctors came up with, I don't know what they came up with, Lyme disease, postpartum depression. I don't know what they came up with. But in fact, what she had was thyroid cancer, which is a very curable type of cancer, as long as you get there on time. But they spent many years screwing up. I'm just not going to mince words. They screwed up with Aisha. And that's why she got so sick that she lost the battle with cancer. It's a very long story, and Aisha blogged on it in a time when nobody used to blog. So that's another thing where she was a pioneer. If ever you have the time, check her blog on birdspurge.blogspot.com and go away to the first post and work your way back to the last one. It's a grueling story of how she was always having a fight with this doctor or that therapist or this person or that person, because in fact, nobody knew what the hell they were doing. They were just doing, and they were not listening to what she was saying, because Aisha really felt her body. She knew exactly what was going on. And in the meantime, she had contacted doctors in Canada, in China, in the United States, and told them her story. And she came back with knowledge from those people, which she wanted to share with the doctors here, but they didn't want to listen to her. So the thing just went on and on and on. And that's how it got so bad that she, in the end, lost the battle to cancer, to thyroid cancer, which could have easily been cured if only they had listened to her properly. When she was sick is when social media started. And I hate it when people tell me how Twitter is a dump, because it didn't used to be. AISHA loved Twitter. AISHA had so many friends on Twitter. You've seen a few already here today. Caroline, Annemieke. And another one of those friends was Henk van Boshoven, who lives maybe an hour and a half away from the hospital where AISHA was usually. And he at one point thought, you know what, AISHA, he'd never met her, but he went to see her in the hospital. And he decided then and there that being cooped up in a room wasn't the right thing for any patient. And then he took her bed outside for some sunshine and some fresh air. That's the picture on the left. It was such a great idea that we copied it many times after that. On the picture on the right, you can see AISHA in her bed, outside in the parking lot in fresh air with my auntie Terza and Tineke, the same friend who is now in France. So Henk van Boshoven always kept in touch with AISHA, and he was very devastated when she died. At the time, he was in China, and I remember he sent me so many messages that night, and I don't know what he did. He was beside himself with grief for somebody that he met on Twitter. So people who are very critical of Twitter today, go on, be that. But don't come tell me that Twitter used to be like this all the time. Twitter used to be a wonderful social place. And to prove it, AISHA had her virtual parties on Twitter. She started on the first one she did was when she was on Twitter for 1 year. She used to just come up with a hashtag like Twaniversary or Twistmas or Happy Two Year or something. And with the hashtag, she used to invite people who were all in their own home, mostly patients like herself, who then had a virtual party. They had virtual wine and virtual cake and virtual everything. And somebody virtually cleaned up afterwards, and somebody virtually drove everybody back home. And these parties lasted for hours, and all these people twittering about what they were doing at that hashtag party, all these people were having a good time together. And this was AISHA's idea. And it was very, very impactful for many people. I know that Lex Alexander, who you saw earlier, who told me about Pine Tree, he told me earlier this week that for him, that too was a way of being in the world at the time. At the end of one of those Twitter, oh yeah, Caroline reminds me about Valentine. Yeah, that's right. And at the end of one of those Twitter parties, AISHA recorded a message to end the party. And I still have that. So I'm going to share it with you. She filmed it in her bed. She was quite sick at the time. Here's AISHA after Happy 2 Year.
Lieve tweeps, fijn dat jullie weer op een feestje zijn gekomen. Ik moet het even aflezen, de speech, want het is anders een beetje te veel om zomaar te adlibben. Maar fijn dat jullie op een feestje zijn gekomen. Ik dacht zelf dat het een beetje veel was. Na Twaniversary en Twitmas. Maar het bleek animo te zijn. En wie ben ik om jullie lol te verpesten. Dus vandaar weer vandaag een leuke borrel. Niet iedereen weet hoe dit is ontstaan. Dus ik denk dat het handig is dat als je nieuw hier bent, dat je dan toch even mijn blog gaat bekijken. Maar het komt erop neer dat ik schildklierkanker heb. En dat ik langzaam de functie van mijn lichaam verlies. En binnenkort ben ik dus vanaf de borstbeen naar beneden verlamd. Maar je lichaam is slechts een omhulsel van je ziel. Als je kan denken, dan besta je gewoon. Ik lig al sinds 28 maart op mijn bed, maar heb het gevoel dat ik midden in het leven sta, net zoals vroeger. Eigenlijk is het hetzelfde, maar grotendeels doe je dat dus in je hoofd. En dat houdt je gezond, om te blijven durven dromen En de grap is dat hoe vaker je durft te dromen, hoe meer je gaat merken dat wat je droomt mogelijk is. Zo houdt het mijn leven de moeite waard. En wat betekent dit eigenlijk voor jou? De media schetsen een wereld van onverdraagzaamheid, individualisme, negativiteit. En het is niet waar dat we het zo slecht hebben met elkaar. We leven in een land met zoveel mogelijkheden en klagen en klagen en klagen. We fokken elkaar op omdat je overal perfect in moet zijn. Je moet de perfecte baan hebben, je moet de perfecte moeder zijn, je moet de perfecte sporter zijn. Wat onzin, wat een druk leg je dan op jezelf. En wat gebeurt er? Mensen gaan daar als gevolg daarvan op een zijden draadje balanceren. En ik zeg, doe dat nou niet. Neem nu de tijd om nu van je leven en je geliefde te genieten voordat het te laat is. Mijn droom is dat mensen een beetje lief voor elkaar worden en een beetje beter naar elkaar gaan luisteren. Ik heb vooral op Twitter dat mogen ondervinden. Dat mensen wel degelijk lief voor elkaar zijn en wat voor je willen betekenen. Laten we met z'n allen zorgen dat we in 2011 dat blijven doen en dat we Tweepcare laten zegevieren.
Yeah, that was the wonderful sister of mine, Aisha, who had a lot of pain, who was very tired in those years, and who still came up with, the recipe for what it is that we are missing right now in our lives. Globally, this world has gone crazy. And I think it's because Aisha is no longer here, because Aisha used to always put stuff into perspective and come up with an uplifting message like she did just there. And anything she ever said, if you think about it, it's all true. It's just all true. This is not me being soppy because she was my sister. It's all true. I know so many people who agree with me that I think she was an angel. I think she knew maybe somewhere deep down that she had so little time to live, and she put all of life into those 42 years that she had on this earth. So that means she was wiser sooner, she was loving sooner, she was everything sooner, and more compact and more urgent. And that's what she shared with the world. That's what she shared with me as her sister. I'm sure she shared it with her other siblings. Mom still says this. Mom says Aisha was the one person who could look inside her heart. She still says that. All her friends who are still grieving for her. I mean, she was a special, special, special person. Lex telling us he remembers this party and being part of that party. And my nephew Segal, he says it's been since then that he hadn't heard her voice. So yeah, I'm sorry if that made you cry, Segal. I'm sorry, but I think it's a good way to honor her. And I think crying is good. We should be crying for a soul like Aisha. We should. Yes, we should. So go ahead and cry and wipe your tears and wipe your nose and live on, because that's what she wanted us to do. Right, Sigal? You know that. Let's see here. Carrie says the same thing. Even though I don't understand what she's saying, it's wonderful hearing her voice. Carrie, if you look back on this video, you will see I translated it in the top part in orange letters. So if you want to see what it is that she was saying, you can still read it. Yeah, so that's Carrie saying that. Here's lovely Carlene Orange Smith, also in Jamaica. So sorry to hear about my loss. And yes, I do accept your condolences, Carlene. It's been 12 years. Today marks the 12th year of the passing of my youngest sister, Aisha. But as you can tell from the fact that I'm doing this special, she's still very much a part of my life. And thank you for being so commiserating. So yes, Aisha was very ill, in and out of hospital, in and out of rehab. And rehab was one of those things she absolutely hated. Why? Not because she didn't want to do the work. She was very serious about the physical work that her therapists gave her. But she was very sad about their negativity. All they kept saying was, don't push yourself too much. Don't this, don't that. Don't keep your hopes up. You know you are never going to walk again. You're probably not going to sit. You are an invalid and basically you're going to die. And what we want you to do is lie in your bed and wait for that moment to happen. Well, AISHA was nowhere near inclined to listen to that. So she did her own thing, especially when it came to rehab. I'm going to show you one part of that. Okay, so this is right after she heard from her doctor, don't get your hopes up. You are never going to walk again.
Go on, Aisha, go on. Ze denkt ook dat ik niet ga zitten en op kunnen staan. Zeg nog eens, ze denkt ook dat ik niet ga kunnen zitten en opstaan. Dus wat is jouw plan? Zitten, opstaan, 60 meter lopen. En in huis zonder stokken. Ja, ik wil zonder rollator, juist. En uiteindelijk lekker naar buiten rennen op een holletje hier. En voorlopig niet terugkomen.
Yeah, so I guess AISHA was proof that whatever your doctor says, listen to your own body and listen to what your own mind is telling you. So that's how she went into all those therapies. This is a day when Adrienne and I joined her because they asked for 2 people of the family to join so we could do kind of exercises with her. We spent the whole day at the rehabilitation center together and made some lovely jokes about those doctors and also kind of worked with AISHA. So that was AISHA. And yes, she did walk a little after that. And but as you can tell, it was 2010 already. And in 2011 is when she died. So she didn't walk the marathon after that. Let's put it that way. But at least she proved those doctors wrong and they had to eat their words and say sorry to her and be very respectful of her and hopefully do their jobs better anytime after they had AISHA as a patient. As you can tell, I'm still pissed off at the whole thing and I'm allowed to be. Let me just have a look at the comments again because, yeah, Annemieke says she was so strong and determined not to let it get the better of her. Very inspirational. It was. And once again, if you read her blog, you will see how she took her own pain and her own discomfort and her own illness, not to complain and feel sorry for herself, but in fact to uplift anybody reading that blog. Let me put it up once more. You need to take a note of this, and instead of watching all kinds of BS that you watch on television, read her blog. You might learn a thing or two. So write down this URL, and if and when you have the time, check it out. It's very inspirational, and I think a person like AISHA, like I said earlier, is exactly what this world needs now and forever. So read it and be inspired. Even when she was very ill, AISHA was still traveling. And one of the places she really, really loved to go, and I'm so happy it was Jamaica. These are pictures of us in Jamaica, in Poca. On the bottom right picture, I'm seeing Mom and Jimmy and my Auntie Teresa. There she is again. This was in 2008, and I think there were about 12 of us staying at my yard at the time. because my auntie came, like I said, and Aisha came with her boyfriend and a friend who helped her with her exercises, and Jimmy was there, and mom's friend from the States came. So Poca was full up, but we had a good time, and thankfully not everybody stayed all the time. So we had some days with a lot of people and some days with a little less people, but we had really good time, and especially on the water, on the river. Aisha loved being in a boat just like myself. So this is maybe possibly the last long trip she did. She always wanted to go back to Brazil, where we lived earlier, but she never made it to that. So, well, you know how it goes. Yes, you do. But that same Jamaica holiday is one of the pictures I cherish most. She'd lost her dreads by that time, and wore her little beanie hat, and just wanted to be part of fun. And she was. And gosh, I love that picture. Yay, Aisha. Let me have a look. Where am I now in the picture? This is number 34. What comes next? Yeah. So, yeah, we're slowly but surely heading towards the end of this program, but not quite. I need to let people know that the next episode of PocaTV Live will not be at the end of May, because, like I was telling you, in a couple of weeks' time, I will be traveling again for work, just like Aisha predicted. I will be in Curaçao and Statia at the time. So the next live program is going to be on June 30th at 6 p.m. Central European Time. And right before the show, I got the confirmation for my guest on June 30th. And that's going to be Nina Jurna, who very recently did a podcast with me. And I've been asking her to be my guest for so very long. She's from Suriname, but she lives in Rio, in Brazil. And she's a freestyle journalist, much like myself. And I really want to share with you her whole entire life story. So Nina's going to be my guest on June the 30th. And I will be spamming you about that. So don't worry, you don't have to even remind yourself of that. It's going to be real, it's going to be there, and Nina and I are going to show you what freestyle journalism really is. So that means it's about time to round up about this tribute for my lovely, beloved, departed sister Aisha, born on August the 20th of 1968, died in the early hours of April 28th, 2011, exactly 12 years ago this day, which is why I did this tribute for her. May she rule in paradise forever and ever. She was the granddaughter of 4, the daughter of 2, the sister of 4, the mother of 1, the aunt of 4. She was a cousin, she was a niece, and she was a friend of many. May she live in our hearts forever and ever. May we never forget her. May we continue to say her name, AISHA HUNKAR, never forgotten, always in our hearts, always part of our lives. I was telling you earlier that I'm going to play out this program with the proper audio of my funny Valentine, because I never even got around to sharing that she was a singer as well. So this will be proof of that. Aisha was a singer. Oh, before I do that, let me quick look what people say about this program. DJ Conscious finds it very moving. In fact, I do too, right at this moment. Angelique says it's a lovely tribute. Thank you, Angelique. I know it's very important that you feel so. Annemieke says she will live on forever. Amen. And so does Alexander. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to play out with my funny Valentine, and sung by Aisha. And I made a compilation of pictures of her life, many of which you've seen past this last hour or so. Some you haven't, so just take it all in. Know it's her singing. I did the compilation in 2016 when we were commemorating 5 years. We are now at 12, and it isn't getting any easier. maybe a bit more bearable, but not easier. So here we go. I'll see you on June the 30th with Nina Jurna. Until such time, be good, be kind, stay well, and take care of yourself and each other. Bye-bye.